Morning, guys. Where does it all begin? Where does activating the full power and control of our mind begin? Well, as I learned today from Maya Angelou, and I'm reminded by all the great thinkers and all the wonderful people in my life, it all begins with loving yourself. That is where it all starts. You're the thing, you're the energy, you're the spirit that begins the path of your true greatness. So let's work hard on this one thing today. Let's really look for reasons. In fact, when this video is over, write down some reasons why you love yourself. And there will be endless things, but it may be difficult at first because we may not think of ourselves that way. Some of us have limiting beliefs, like it's selfish to love ourselves, or it might be egotistical or narcissistic or negative things. Loving yourself is absolutely essential. Otherwise, everything stops. So love yourself all day long today. Have a great morning, everyone.
I recently had Tony Robbins on my main channel for the third time in an interview, and so to celebrate that, please enjoy this special video from our vault.
Fulfillment is an art. What's going to fulfill you is different than the other person next to you. You're not going to learn that from anybody else. And you got to find it, because success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. And I get those phone calls all the time for the multi-billionaire entrepreneur or politician or business person, or a person just won their Academy Award and they're depressed and they can't tell anybody because they got all their goals, but they're not fulfilled because they really don't have that sense of meaning in their life. They went for something and they got it. They achieved. And if you doubt this, what I'm saying is relevant to you or us or anyone, just think about a year, a month ago, we lost what I consider to be a national treasure, Robin Williams. How many of you loved Robin Williams? Look around the room, keep your hands up, look. And most of you didn't know him, almost every. And where you go in the world, people love Robin Williams. By the way, was he great at achievement? Oh my God, that guy, he said he wanted to become a great comedian. He did that. I want to make the world laugh. He did. I want to make my own TV show. He did. I want to have the #1 TV show. He did it. I want to make movies. He did it. I want an Academy Award for not being funny. Not his skill set, drama, and he did it. I want a beautiful family, and he did it. And then he hung himself. Make everybody happy but yourself. Not a good plan. So if I had a gift to give you, it would be maybe make a different decision. And the decision is that no matter what happens in your life, you're going to live in a beautiful state. A beautiful state. And that could be happy, that could be grateful, that could be being generous. Those are all beautiful states, aren't they? It could be curious, it could be fun, it could be playful. You're not limited to one state, but it's different than suffering. And most people's suffering, and all suffering I've ever seen, I've traveled to 100 countries, I've dealt with presidents of countries and, presidents of businesses, CEOs, I've dealt with people in prison, I've dealt with, you name it, average people. Suffering always comes because you're obsessed about something related to you. You can only be depressed if you're focusing on yourself. You say, no, I'm depressed because it's my kids and they're not doing well. No, you're depressed because you feel you failed your kids. It's about you. It's about how you think what you should have done or shouldn't have done, or what someone did to you or didn't do to you in the past or the future, which don't even exist. So I have a simple goal. My goal is help people make a decision that says, I don't know what's going to happen. You might get a divorce, even though you don't think so. You might find a member of your family with cancer. You might have your house get burned down or have a tornado go by, and if you live in the same place, it happens every 2 years and you move back, we should talk, but some people seem to do that for some reason. You can't control those things. I can't control those things. I don't want those to happen to you or anybody I love or anybody who's even a stranger to me, but they're going to happen. True? Not positive thinking bullshit, just the truth. So if that's going to happen, I say make a decision now that says, I'm going to live in a beautiful state and I'm going to find beauty in whatever life brings me. Because life is too short not to.
I love this clip, and I agree that fulfillment and success look different for everybody, and figuring out what that looks like for you, what that really means to you, that's the ultimate game. And that comes from just living life. That comes from thinking about it, self-reflection, understanding what you love out of your life and what you don't like anymore and need to eliminate. And it can also come from exposing yourself to new ideas, to new people, to new mentors, to help shift your thinking so that you can break free of your immediate environment and learn more from people who've gone on and done amazing things. It's why I've started the Top 10 Rules of Success series. It's iconic on this channel, and it really means a lot to me because my goal here is to profile all sorts of different people from all sorts of different walks of life. And when Tony Robbins is talking about success, it's through his lens. And if Donald Trump is talking about success, it's through his lens. And if the Dalai Lama is talking about success, it's through his lens. And Oprah Winfrey is through her lens. And Priyanka Chopra is through her lens. And so my goal here is to not say this is the only thing that success means, but to be able to give you a wide perspective, because what the Dalai Lama says is going to be really different than what Donald Trump says. But you can still potentially learn a little bit from both, because the ultimate goal is for you to figure out what success and what fulfillment looks like for you. When I first started, it was only about entrepreneurs. Every video was only about entrepreneurs. And the first top 10 that we shifted from that, I think, was Michael Jordan, because he is a successful entrepreneur. He's a billionaire. But people associate him with basketball and sport. And when we looked at his collection of advice, we're not going to make a video on how to dunk like Michael Jordan, but a lot of the wisdom that he shares is still applicable whether you're an entrepreneur or not. And when I realized that, it's like these perspectives matter. And I don't just want to show one side. I don't just want to show what financial success looks like. And so the game is for you to figure out what success looks like for you. Because when Tony Robbins says it, or the Dalai Lama, or Donald Trump, or Priyanka Chopra, they're speaking their truth. It's what it means to them. And that may be your truth, but it may not be. And so my hope is that when you watch one of these videos, you try on the hat. You try it on and see if it fits. See if you like it. See if it looks good in the mirror. You try it on. And if you don't like it, you ditch it. If you're watching a top 10 rules video and only 2 of the points speak to you, you ditch the other 8. Don't worry about the other 8. Those 2 things could be life-changing for you. Keep that hat on and disregard the rest. The ultimate game in life for you is to figure out what happiness, what fulfillment, what success looks like for you. So the question of the day today is, I'm curious, how would you define fulfillment for yourself? What does that look like? Be as detailed or as brief as you'd like. I would love to hear your comments. Leave it down below. I also want to give a quick shout out to Jose Velez. Jose, thank you so much for picking up a copy of my book, Your One Word, and doing the review and posting it on Instagram with that awesome picture. I really, really appreciate the support, man, and I'm so glad that you enjoyed the book. So thank you guys again for watching. I believe in you. I hope you continue to believe in yourself and whatever your one word is. Much love, and I'll see you again tomorrow morning for another shot of Espresso.
I wake up every morning. Espresso, keep me going.
I've never really been interested in living a balanced life. You know, I think balanced people don't change the world, first of all. I think balanced people don't really follow a dream, you know. This doesn't mean that you don't have responsibilities. Like, just go to the other part of his question, how can you have a family? Well, sure, you can have a family and have, you know, but balance is kind of like, I feel like balance is like a made-up word. It's like invented by corporations, you know, to make their employees think that they're happy. You know, it's like you got this balance, like you could work at Microsoft, you know, or something here in Seattle. And
there's like 10 Microsoft people in the audience.
That's right.
Here,
No disrespect to Microsoft. Let's pick another company. Microsoft's a great company.
1 out of every 5 people
That's
in Seattle works at Microsoft.
That's right. You know, and it's like, you know, you got this thing, and maybe you love your job, and if you love your job, that's great. But I hear from a lot of dissatisfied people at some of these big companies, and they write in, they're like, I'm reading your blog from my cubicle, and like, you know, I have this good job, and I've got my health insurance, I've got free yoga every Thursday, but I'm not really, you know,
fulfilled.
Right, I'm not really fulfilled. So for me, I guess I'm much more interested in that word fulfilled. Like, you know, how can you live a fulfilled life? And you can live a fulfilled life and still pay your bills. You know, lots of creative people do it. Lots of unconventional people do it. And I would say, if anything, it's actually much more common now than it used to be. You know, when I first started working online, you know, 15 years ago, I didn't know a lot of other people who were doing that. You know, my friends thought I was selling drugs or something.
Well, you were.
Well, I was, you know, but, or like online gambling or, you know, whatever. Like, parents have no idea how the internet works and stuff. But now it's much more common. So I don't really like the word balance myself.
So what we'd like to do is we want to replace the word, like, living a balanced life is not the goal. The goal is living a fulfilled life.
As you try to figure out the impossible task of juggling work and family, and you hear over and over and over again that you just need a lot of help, or you just need to be organized, or you just need to try a little bit harder. As a very successful woman, a single mother of 3 who constantly gets asked the question, how do you do it all? For once, I'm going to answer that question with 100% honesty here for you now. Because it's just us, because it's our fireside chat, because somebody has to tell you the truth. Shonda, how do you do it all? The answer is this: I don't. Whenever you see me somewhere succeeding in one area of my life, that almost certainly means I am failing in another area of my life. If I am killing it on a scandal script for work, I am probably missing bath and story time at home. If I'm at home sewing my kids' Halloween costumes, I'm probably blowing off a rewrite I was supposed to turn in. If I'm accepting a prestigious award, I'm missing my baby's first swim lesson. If I'm at my daughter's debut in her school musical, I am missing Sandra Oh's last scene ever being filmed at Grey's Anatomy. If I am succeeding at one, I am inevitably failing at the other. That is the trade-off. That is the Faustian bargain one makes with the devil that comes with being a powerful working woman who is also a powerful mother. You never feel 100% okay. You never get your sea legs. You're always a little nauseous. Something is always lost. Something is always missing. And yet, I want my daughters to see me and know me as a woman who works. I want that example set for them. I like how proud they are when they come to my offices and know that they come to Shondaland. There is a land, and it is named after their mother. In their world, mothers run companies. In their world, mothers own Thursday nights. In their world, mothers work. And I am a better mother for it. The woman I am because I get to run Shondaland, because I get to write all day, because I get to spend my days making things up, that woman is a better person and a better mother because that woman is happy. That woman is fulfilled. That woman is whole. I wouldn't want them to know the me who didn't get to do this all day long. Wouldn't want them to get to know the me who wasn't doing. So lesson number 3 is that anyone who tells you they're doing it all perfectly is a liar.
How would you describe fulfillment as a YouTube producer?
Well, I think fulfillment and YouTube producer are kind of 2 different things. I think fulfillment in general as a filmmaker, for me, comes from creating. And that's why, in 2010, they put the soundtrack on for this story, so I'll try to make it sound nostalgic. I left like the mainstream sort of universe because I wanted to create more. So for me, fulfillment comes in creation. And I always say that I'm a little bit of a junkie and my drug is uploading. Because if I haven't posted a movie in a month or a month and a half, I get seriously depressed. And the only thing that makes me happy is to get a new movie out there. That answers your question, right?
If you want to see my recent interview with Tony Robbins, check the video right there next to me. I think you'll love it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
There is a regenerative revolution that's happening in medicine right now, in precision medicine. Billionaires know about it, but the average person doesn't. What pushed me over the edge recently is I had some experiences that really hit me hard.
Good afternoon, guys. How's it going today? Are you working hard on loving yourself? Loving yourself is the most important thing, but for many of us, it's hard to do. We may have allowed all our limiting beliefs and all the negative things that have happened or are happening today to keep us down from loving ourselves. Well, this is where your belief and your power to believe in your determination, your spirit of never giving up on that steps in. Right now, if you are having challenges, struggles in loving yourself, stop right now and remember, you have to believe that it is possible for you to change your thinking. So do it right now. Wherever you are, whatever you're going through, stop right now and again, go back at it again. Give yourself one reason to love yourself. The fact that you're even here right now, breathing, watching, trying to get better, that's a reason to love yourself. Have a great afternoon, everyone.
I actually tell a team, it's everyone is a chief engineer. This is extremely important. And that everyone must understand how the broadly speaking, all the systems in the vehicle work.
Right.
And so that so you don't have subsystem optimization, because this is naturally what happens. You can see the organizational errors the product errors reflect the organizational errors. So essentially you'll see that there's an interface at this, like if you got whatever departments you've got, that will be where your interfaces are.
Right.
And then instead of getting rid of something or questioning the constraints, the one department will design to the constraints of the other department has given them without calling into question those constraints and saying those constraints are wrong. And you should actually take the approach that the constraints that you are given are guaranteed to be some degree wrong. Guaranteed to be some degree wrong. Because the counterpoint would be that they are perfect.
Right, which is never.
As you say, what's the probability that this is the platonic ideal of the perfect part?
Right.
Zero. Okay,
yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
So you could question your constraints. It does not matter if the person handing you those constraints won a Nobel Prize. Even Einstein was wrong some of the time.
Right.
So question your constraints. This is extremely important.
Want to be happy? Build a life, not just a business. Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and this channel was created to help you overcome the #1 challenge that is holding you back, a lack of belief in yourself. You watch these videos because you know you've got more inside you. You've got Michael Jordan level genius at something. So today, let's live your best belief life and learn how billionaires think to get some success advice from the top. Enjoy. Rule number 2, listen to criticism with Jeff Bezos.
I talk a lot about willingness to be misunderstood. That's a really important thing to have. If you're going to do anything new or different in the world, it is going to be misunderstood, sometimes by well-meaning critics, sometimes by self-interested critics. You'll get all kinds. And it's okay. It's all part of the process. The only way to avoid criticism altogether is to be completely conventional in everything you do. And so how do you respond to the criticism? What do? What's the right thing to do? Well, I think the first thing you do is you ask, are the critics right? You listen, you ask, are they right? Or even if they're not completely right, is there some piece of it that's right, that you can be inspired by? And then if you decide, by the way, that the answer is no, that you believe, you have conviction that what you're doing is the right course, then no force in the world should be able to move you. You should have a deep keel. But if you decide that your critics, that there is something, then you should change. And I give you an example from the early days of Amazon of one where we refused to change. We were small enough that most people didn't pay much attention to us or care about us. I'm taking you way back to like 1995, 1996. We pioneered this thing called customer reviews. And I got a letter one day from a publisher, a book publisher, that said, hey, you must not understand your business. You're losing sales because you're allowing negative customer reviews on the book detail pages. Why don't you just put positive reviews? And I thought about this, and I thought, no, he's wrong. We don't make money when we sell things. We make money when we help people make purchase decisions. It was a different framing. And so, getting to today's news, we listened to our critics, and we decided the framing that we have been using all these years is competitive compensation. We look at what other job opportunities there are and what the competitive compensation levels are, and we offer competitive compensation and actually non-competitive, world-leading benefits packages, but just competitive compensation. And so in light of this, thinking about this and trying to decide, do we want to change, we realized, we just made a decision, well, you can offer competitive compensation or you can decide to lead. And as soon as we framed it that way, we're like, let's decide to lead.
It's a great
and I think people will follow.
And what was it the critics said that caught your eye?
Basically, they were saying, if you read between the lines, because a lot of the specific criticism was not correct, but if you read between the lines, what they really wanted us to do, they said, because you could also say, look, there's so many companies. There are all the fast food companies, there's, the baristas, and there's, wait a second, why are you focusing on us? But what they're really saying is, we're focusing on you because you're a leader, and we want you to lead. That's what they're actually saying. And as soon as you recognize it that way, instead of it feeling like criticism, it feels empowering. They're asking us to lead because we're a symbol of an innovative, iconic company. We're a gold standard for innovation. We should lead.
Rule number 3, empower others with Jack Ma.
Entrepreneurs are the most important element to promote, to develop a society. And I think entrepreneurships are the very constructive points and elements of the society. In Africa, I think we need 3 E's. E-government, make the government transparent. Entrepreneurs, make them the heroes. Education, make the people know what they want and what they don't want. And as an entrepreneur in Africa, I went to Africa 4 years ago. Before I went there, I think I know a lot about Africa. When I arrived there, I was surprised. I know so little about Africa. And I promised myself, in 10 years, I will visit every country in Africa. So I visited 5 countries, at least every trip to Africa in the past 4 years. And I think what I can do is to empower the young people, young entrepreneurs. I went to Kenya and met some of the young entrepreneurs. They are so smart. They are so good, much smart than Jack Ma in 1999. They all have mobile phones. And the thing is, the entrepreneurs in Africa are so different from entrepreneurs in most of the other countries. Most entrepreneurs in the other countries, they do entrepreneur, they want to go IPO. These people, they want to change Africa. They want to change their lives. And when I was starting my business, nobody helped us. Very few people. Today, I think I have the capability. I have the money. I have the resources. And I want to go there, empower the entrepreneurs. If we can be able to discover and help more Jack Ma's, more Bill Gates, more Warren Buffett's, more Steve's, Africa will be different. That's what I think. It's my great honor to be there and do something.
Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching this video, I've designed a special free worksheet just for this video. The worksheet will highlight all of the lessons learned in this video, as well as pull out our 3 favorite learnings and quotes that will inspire you to actually do something. The worksheet will also give you space to write down what your key takeaways are and your specific plan of action to make sure you're getting results. If you want the worksheet designed specifically for this video, absolutely for free, there's a link in the description below. Go click on it and start building the momentum in your life and your business. I'll see you there. Rule number 4, care enough to try with Oprah Winfrey.
And it's true, you can't personally stop anybody from walking into a school with an assault rifle, nor can you single-handedly ensure that the rights that your mothers and your grandmothers fought so hard for will be preserved for the daughters that you may someday have. And it'll take more than you alone to pull 40 million Americans out of poverty, but who will you be if you don't care enough to try? And what mountains could we move, I think? What gridlock could we eradicate if we were to join forces and work together in service of something greater than ourselves? You know, my deepest satisfaction and my biggest rewards have come from exactly that. Pick a problem. Any problem, and do something about it, because to somebody who's hurting, something is everything.
Rule number 5, make a difference with Richard Branson.
The only reason we would go into a new sector is if we felt it was being badly run by other people. So the reason we went into trains was the government were running trains. British Rail was dilapidated trains. A miserable service, and we just felt, we could go in, we could get fantastic new rail stock, we could motivate the staff, and we could make a big difference. And so we took over, the busiest line in Britain, the West Coast Main Line, And we've gone from 8 million passengers to nearly 40 million passengers, and I think transformed the experience for people. And in every new sector that we've gone into, we've seen a gaping gap in the market where the big guys have not been doing it very well, and where we can come in and shake up an industry.
Rule number 6, make an effort with Mark Cuban.
What's made you successful? I have all these stupid little sayings that I tell myself all the time, or tell employees or whatever. And one of them is, the one thing in life that you can control is your efforts. And I always work my ass off. Always. First in, last out. I went 7 years when I started my first company without a vacation. I lived like I was broke because I was, and obviously today I still do. Yeah, I don't know why me in terms of why I'm here and somebody else isn't, but I've always just tried to bust my ass and be smart about it, and always keep learning and trying to improve.
And rule number 7, the last one before some very special bonus clips, is lead by example with Grant Cardone.
In my environment, what happens in our environment, the reason we're growing is because the code of ethics is we push, we don't want lazy around us. We have a lot of fun, okay? But when we're pushing to get the deal done, and that starts with the leadership. Here I am, 4 days we've been here. I haven't been in the ocean yet. I haven't done the little things that go across the ocean. What are those called?
Jet skis.
The jet skis.
Yeah.
I haven't jumped out of the plane, even though everybody's... And by the way, I'd love to skydive, and I probably will come back and skydive. But I haven't done that because the region's asking something of me, right? And if I'm like, I'm too busy, I'm riding camels today. Great experience, and I will have it. But I have to set priorities in my life. The people around me know that I'm going to take the work before I'm going to take the leisure, yeah.
Grant,
so pay the price today, right?
Pay the price.
And I can pay any price tomorrow.
Good evening, guys. How did it go today? How did the most important thing in the world that you can do go today? Did you find reasons to love yourself? Are you doing it right now? Well, it's absolutely essential as we continue on our path to developing mind wealth. And I want to share with you a personal story. I want you to remember that what I'm doing right now, I could have been doing a long time ago, and many great thinkers will attest. Even my hero, Les Brown, says he could have been doing what he's doing today many, many years ago if he loved himself and believed in himself enough that he could do it. And same goes with me. I am not even close to reaching my full potential, and neither are you, and we're never going to be. But we got to love that path. We got to love being on it, and we got to continue to love ourselves. Find reasons for it. I continue to do it every day, and every day, the greatest thing I love myself for is that I'm showing courage and determination. So let's do it together. Have a great evening, everyone.
What I love doing is I want to teach myself, I want to inoculate myself against judgment. I want to teach myself that if my heart's beating, boom, 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 it's a sign that I need to go do the thing. Most of the things that we're afraid of doing are because of other people's opinions, right?
Yeah,
you're playing small because you're worried how somebody's going to judge you. You'll sing in the shower, but you won't sing on the street corner. You'll record a video, but you won't post it on YouTube, right? You want to do great things, but you're afraid of the reaction that's going to happen. So that if you can feel that, then it's, man, I don't want to live my whole life playing small because of somebody else's opinion of me. Now, we got entrepreneurs who are watching. Entrepreneurs, we want to do different things. We want to change the status quo. There's a lot of people who want to protect the status quo. All those people who want to protect the status quo, they won't like you by default just because of what you represent. Without knowing you, they just don't like what you represent, so they're going to hate on you.
Yeah, you represent the idea of what they could be doing possibly if they were willing to put themselves out there.
Sure, you're taking stuff away from them. You know, they don't like that, so they hate you just by definition.
Right.
So if you want to go off and have a huge impact, you're going to get the bigger impact you want, the more people are going to line up against you who want to protect what currently is.
Yeah.
And so if you can't do something as simple as ask a girl out or sing on the street or something simple, then you're never going to do the big thing.
Need motivation?
Watch a Top 10 with Believe Nation.
Hey, it's Nina Carmichael, and we made these videos probably because you're the most ambitious person in your circle. But you know you're capable of more, and you need the push by surrounding yourself with the best. So today, let's learn from one of the best, my husband Evan Carmichael, and our take on his top 10 rules for success. Enjoy! Rule number 2, love what you do.
I feel like what I do matters. And I think that's really, really important. I think people who are starting a business only trying to make money often burn out and don't make money. I've been doing YouTube for 12 years now. We've done over 10,000 videos. Not all of them are public. And people ask me, well, how do you keep going? Like, how do you not burn out? How do you stay consistent? We haven't missed a day of uploading a video in maybe 70 years, something like that. Something crazy. Well, how? Because I love what I'm doing. Because I feel like it matters. Because this isn't it. Look at this interview here with Michael. Is this work? This doesn't feel like work for me. This is fun. This is a holiday in Canada for me right now. This is our Independence Day right now. We're filming this on Canada Independence Day right now. And I'm here talking with Michael because it's fun, right? And so when you're doing work that you love and you feel is having an impact, it's a lot easier to stay positive and excited and have momentum. Where if you're forcing yourself to do something that you hate because you think it's going to make you money, that's when you start diving on the path of boredom and maybe ultimately depression.
Rule number 3, do scary things.
The number one thing you can do for your confidence is to do scary things. When you come up against something that's scary, that's difficult, that's hard, and you don't do them, you're telling yourself that you can't and that you suck. You're teaching yourself with every inaction that you're the kind of person who plays small. You need to flip that thinking. It's scary, you do it. It's scary, you're jumping. Because you do scary things. You want to be scared. If you have things that make you scared, it means you're growing, you're learning, you're getting better. If there's nothing in your calendar that makes you scared in the next month, you hate your life. That's actually most people. Most people don't have anything in their calendar that is scary, and they look at their calendar ahead and they hate their life. They're bored. They're photocopying the same day over and over again. You don't want that. So the goal isn't to not be scared, because that means you're playing small. The goal is to find things that are scary and then to teach yourself that you do them.
Rule number 4, find a way to serve people.
I think 99.999% of people are built to serve. I think we get happiness by helping other people with what we can help them with. I think there's a tiny, tiny percentage of people who enjoy killing people. They got brain chemicals kind of messed up, but most people aren't like that. Right. You know? Thankfully, we wouldn't be here.
In general,
we want to, like, think of your greatest moments. They involve somebody else. Think of your happiest, most proud moments of all time. They involve somebody else. You've helped. The winning for you, the great moments won't just be receiving some check or making a lot of money. It's like, how are you going to use that to help somebody else? So we're wired to serve. Just not everybody's wired to serve the world. So you have to understand your style. For people watching this show, they're probably wired to serve the world. Entrepreneurs, we want to make a big impact, a big change, a big difference. Yeah. But not everybody's built that way. Some people they want to serve the closest people, friends, family. Yeah. You know, my wife is still in touch with people from her grade 1 in China. You know, like she keeps in touch with people. Like, well, she's a master networker, I guess, too. But I don't care that much about people like that. I want to help the world. There was a really interesting question that somebody asked me. Like, would you rather? Would I rather have 100,000 people really understand my message and get it, or my son? And I picked 100,000 people.
Wow.
And my wife picked this up.
Wasn't happy.
Right? Now I don't know what. No, she wasn't not happy. She gets it, but it's just a different approach. Yeah. Now, where does it? I don't know. What's the number? Is it 1,000? Is it 5,000? Right, yeah. I don't want to go down that slippery slope. but that idea of, you know, ultimately, if my wife really needed something from me, I would be there for her. But at the end of the day, I need to be free to be doing the work that I love doing.
Yeah.
And so you have to find a way to serve.
Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching this video, I've designed a special free worksheet just for this video. The worksheet will highlight all of the lessons learned in this video, as well as pull out our 3 favorite learnings and quotes that will inspire you to actually do something. The worksheet will also give you space to write down what your key takeaways are and your specific plan of action to make sure you're getting results. If you want the worksheet designed specifically for this video, absolutely for free, there's a link in the description below. Go click on it and start building the momentum in your life and your business. I'll see you there.
Rule number 5, build a great team.
I did everything myself at the beginning. I was doing 1 video per week on YouTube, and then the first hire I had was an editor, and that let me go to 1 video a day instead of just 1 video a week. And so the sooner you can start to incorporate people in your life who can support you, either emotional support, Nina, my wife, now is involved in my business, is my chief heart officer, and does a lot of work inside the company. But at the beginning, she didn't know anything about YouTube besides watching. She didn't give me any advice or really know what to do, but just supporting me, just encouraging me, just understanding me. It makes a big difference when you have somebody in your life who's just there for you and understands you, even if they can't give you practical knowledge. Just that support is helpful. But then also the people who can actually do the thing that you need help with. Even if it's for 1 hour a week or 1 hour a day. Like that, the first person I hired was 1 hour a day. And that saved 1.5 to 2 hours a day of my time because he was better at the thing than I was. So you don't need to have a big budget to go hire somebody. But if you have a big mission, then you have to realize that ultimately you can't do this alone, and make a commitment that by the end of next month, you're going to have somebody else on your team helping you. We often get inspired, whether it's watching a video like this, hearing an interview from Michael or somebody else, reading a book. How many times you've read a book and been inspired, but then you don't do anything. And we say, okay, tomorrow we're going to do it, and the next week we're going to do it, and then nothing ends up happening. So if you got inspired by this, you took any idea from this, the best thing you can do is today take 1 small piece of action towards it. If your goal is, I want to be a YouTuber as well, great. The best thing you can do is make a video. If your goal is to write your own book, great. The best thing you can do right now is write the first page of content. And expect it to suck. Just expect it to suck. Your first page is going to suck. Your first video is definitely going to suck. It doesn't mean you suck as a human. It just means you don't have the skill set yet. Why would you have the skill set if it's your first time doing it? So just expect to suck, but get started, because that's the thing that most people miss. There's a lot of smart people who consume a lot of content, who can say what I'm going to say before I say it because they've seen so much of it, and have read so many books, thousands of books, and have them memorized, but then they're still stuck in life because you're not taking the action. So the most important thing you can do when you're reading a book, at least I think, when you're reading a book or when you're watching a video, go pause it. Put the book down for a second. Pause the video, and then go take some immediate action from it. If you look at all those books on Michael's shelf behind you, if you all have that collection, and in each one of those books you actually took just 1 idea away from it and did something about it, your life will be dramatically different. So the message is, do something today. Do something today to get some momentum on your big goal.
Rule number 7, start getting paid.
You can see the end picture and the goal and the vision that you've got for yourself and what you want to make, but from where you are now to where you're going to be, it just feels too big, too slow, too impossible, needing venture capital funding, needing a whole ton of support. Like, no, you just need to figure out what's the next step that will start to pay you for what you're doing. This is where people often don't want to have the conversation because they just want to do everything for free. But that's great, but you have to make money doing this, so that you can make this your full-time thing, so you can hire a team, so you can expand, so you can have a bigger reach, so you can have a much bigger impact, so you can actually create the world that you want to create. Again, money's not number 1, but you have to figure out a way to make money. So inside of your big dream, what is the next step that you have to take that's going to start to get you paid? And often it's coaching. Often it's selling your time, right? Often it's taking the expertise that you have inside you. You solved the problem for yourself. Now you're going to help other people do it, and you're going to get paid to do it.
Rule number 8, embrace fear.
I'm very much kind of the same way that you are in terms of, that's the biggest fear for me, is knowing, like thinking about myself getting to the end of my life and then just wishing that I had done this or done that or taken that chance that one time?
It's because it's a slow bleed.
Can you explain what you mean by that?
Yeah, because that regret is something that's going to happen every day for the next X number of years of your life. Like from now, if I'm 39 to 99, that's 60 years of my life.
Right.
But it's going to be a little bit of pain every day versus doing it and failing is massive pain.
Yeah.
And so on a daily, that massive pain of failure is bigger than the little bit of pain of regret. But if you accumulate all those days of regret and then bring it back to today, it actually ends up being way bigger. But people don't feel it because you just see this massive pain and you'll pick the one, you don't want to do that massive pain.
Right.
People won't do that. And so I try to imagine myself at 99 in my rocking chair. Now it's over, like I can't do it.
Right.
I don't have the energy, I can't chase that down. My mind is going. And now that's decades of regret. And I try to make it more painful. Right.
To live in that pain moment.
Yeah, and bring it back to today. So if you have a hangnail, it's going to hurt you. But then if somebody punches you in the arm, you forget about the hangnail.
Yeah, right.
And so what I want to do is punch myself in the arm with regret, make it more painful so that I don't feel this thing. And so I don't think you can be fearless. I just give myself a greater fear. Right? That thing is scary. Failing is is scary, right? That asking her out or your business tanking or whatever, that's real. That's a fear.
Yeah.
And I just want to give myself a bigger fear to force me into action.
Rule number 9, surround yourself with success.
Creating the environment for yourself for success. So, if Best Book Bits inspires you, great. Look at the content every day. If this show inspires you, great. Follow Michael and look at the other stuff that he's doing. Most of us don't have enough people around us who are doing amazing things. Chances are the people listening to this show, you're the most ambitious person that you know. You're the most growth-oriented. You're the one pouring in other people. You're the one saying, this book I just read, you have to go read it. We're forcing our ideas on other people because we've learned so much. You've learned so much and you just want to share it with other people. But the people around you aren't as receptive, aren't as open, aren't as growth-minded as you are. And that's a great gift that you're giving them. But the challenge is you don't have people who are pushing you. And so I try to surround myself with the environment that pushes me forward in the content that I make, because I want to be around Oprah Winfrey and Elon Musk and super successful entrepreneurs because they pull me forward. And so the more that I'm around that, the more I want to believe in myself and go chase my dreams. So that's the first, like your environment, your habits, your routine. Are you around the people who are lifting you up, either in person, but more likely online or through books that inspire you as part of your daily routine, not just a one-off thing that you happen to do?
Rule number 10, the last one before our very special bonus clip, stop overthinking things.
When it's simple, you can go fast. When it's simple, when you have clarity, when you've got direction, it's so much easier to get stuff done, to actually make progress on your goals. But when you're stuck with overcomplicating, overthinking, over-strategizing, nothing happens. You felt this. You've had ideas. You've had goals. I have too. Dreams, goals, ambitions, desires. Like, here's what I want to do. And then what do we do? What's the next step? We make it so big. We start thinking of all the possibilities of where it could go and what could go wrong. And we start planning and overthinking and researching and more planning and more research and more. And then as a result, nothing happens. Nothing happens because we've now wasted days of just research, planning, thinking, and we've made it so big that we feel like we can't do it by ourselves anymore. Like now we can't get started because we need a team, we need money, we need investors, we need promotion, we need people to help us, we need all these things so we never actually make. Have you been there? I lost a $40 million deal when I was 20 because of that. Because of overthinking, over-planning, over-preparing, and not enough doing. And it's not that planning isn't important, it's just not the first step. The first step is to get really clear, really narrow, really specific to this is what I need to do, and then going off and doing it. Because you have time. We feel like we don't have time. Even if you have a job, you have family, you have time. The problem is the time that you're spending on your business is not intentional enough, is not simple enough, is not clear enough, and you spend your time going in circles, overthinking instead of actually doing. Does that sound familiar?
You go as far as you believe you can go. When the people around you say you're crazy, when you're putting in massive effort but you're not getting the results, where you sit alone and wonder, did you just make the biggest mistake of your life by starting this business? That is the time when most people quit, and you need to believe more. Because if you love this thing, if you know that it's going to impact people and you give up too soon, you will regret for the rest of your life knowing that you were capable of more and you just quit on it a little too early. So I look at my new book as an example. I did my tour across America, met with entrepreneurs all across America, and found that people were struggling with the same thing. They want to know, how do I find what my purpose is and turn it into a lucrative business? Every city that I went to, even though that was not the topic I was covering, it came up over and over and over and over again, 23 different cities. And so I thought, I'm gonna write a book on this. This is gonna be my next book. I'm gonna take people through the process because my process works and it helped people live in 10, 15 minutes, and they're getting new ideas and results. And here we go. Like they understand what path they need to take. Finally, they have clarity on what to do next. And so I told my agent and my lit agent, like, this is the next book I wanna write. We told publishers, this is the next book I'm gonna write. And from the start, it's been this big pull. It's been fighting. We don't like the title. We don't like the concept. No, we're not gonna publish it. No, we're not gonna publish it. And I wanna do it by January because I wanna do my next tour across the rest of the United States, East Coast, Texas, Mexico. I wanna do my next tour. So I wanna have my book in stores by that time. And it's been this rough slog, where if I didn't believe in myself that this was so important, with the people who are looking at it saying, nah, we don't like this concept. Nah, it's been written before. No, this method, we don't believe in. It's easy to quit. It's easy to give up. It's easy to say, forget it. I just know that it's gonna work. I know that the process helps people. I've seen it with my eyes across 23 cities over 90 days. I wrote the draft of the book and I gave it to some beta readers. And the number one piece of advice from people who've read both my books, the Year One Word and then this, like this is the better book. This is the best book you've written so far, including my self-published ones. And so what do? I've got these people who are my audience who love it, and then these people who aren't my audience but who make decisions saying, nah, we don't believe in it. I'm not gonna quit. I gotta keep going. I gotta do my tour. There better be some crazy good reason for me not to do my tour, right? Even if I have to self-publish it. Now, I'm pretty close to making my deal, making it all happen and getting timelines and all that, but we don't have a signed contract yet and anything can happen. We're pushing the timelines because I'm pushing the timelines, because otherwise this thing could drag on forever. When you have an idea that you love, that you know can have a huge impact, that's just taking longer than you hoped it would. When people are telling you that it's crazy and that it's stupid and that who are you to go off and do this thing? If you love it, you have to double down on it. You have to go in on it. You have to be open to getting help, but if that door closes, you try to find another one. And that's the story of every successful person. You're trying to do something different. As long as you love it, you have to keep going. You cannot quit. Maybe one day somebody does throw you a bunch of money and you can stop sleeping in your office. Or maybe it's just a slow grind up and it takes you 10 years to become an overnight success. You'll never know how long it will take you to be successful. But what you do know is that if you quit on something that you love, you will end up regretting it for the rest of your life. As long as you love it, you have to keep going. You can't quit. So look at my story. It wasn't easy being an entrepreneur growing up. That's why I do so much to help entrepreneurs, because I don't want you guys to struggle as much as I did. In my first real business when I was 19, I had to decide between earning $100,000 a year and traveling around the world in my dream job versus owning 30% of a company, making $300 a month, and being unsure if anything's gonna work out or not. And I decided that I had to keep going. I had to try, because I didn't want to end up being 85 years old and looking back and saying, I never did it. I never went for it. I would rather know and fail than not know. Because the things that you regret are rarely the things that you do. It's the things that you didn't do. The things that you had a chance to do. You had an opportunity, you thought about it, you felt it, but then you backed down because you were afraid. Those are the things that you regret. That's what you regret most, and I didn't want that to happen. But starting off my business wasn't easy. I struggled, I sucked. I made it harder on myself because I told my friends that I was living the entrepreneur life and I couldn't hang out with them. Meanwhile, that $20 was just too expensive for me to go out and have beer with them, right? I isolated myself, I made myself lonely. I felt worthless as a human being. And the worst day of my life came when I told my business partner that I quit on him, that it was just too difficult, that I couldn't keep going, that I needed to feel like I was contributing, that my time meant something, that all this work I was putting into something, I just need to feel valuable again, that I was contributing to something. Because when you wake up every day and you're working and it's just not getting results, it can be real hard to keep going. And so I told him that I quit. I hung up the phone and then just started crying. And the next day I woke up and I just thought, I can't quit on this, not yet. I haven't given everything I've got. Because I felt like in a year, in 2 years, in 5 years, in 20 years, I would look back and regret that I gave up. If I knew that I gave everything I had and it didn't work out, I was okay with the failure. It was just the idea of that thing lingering, that I could have given a little bit more, that I still liked this thing and I needed to see it through, and I didn't, that I quit on it. I knew that would eat me up forever. And so I had to get up that next day and tell myself, I'm not gonna quit yet. I just have to find a different way to stand. What I've tried so far has not worked. It has not worked. I'm making zero money. Well, $300 a month. But it's not working out. And I hate myself. I hate my life. I hate how I feel about myself. I have to find a different way to stand. And that energy allowed me to keep going. That energy allowed me to then ask myself, who else has done this before? And I looked at Bill Gates and how he started Microsoft, and that started the path up for my business. And then 2 years later, I sold my company. And it happened pretty quick. All because I refused to quit on the thing that I knew I needed to see through. People aren't afraid of failing. You're afraid of failing in front of others.